Hi everyone. Um, let's get right into it. This is gonna be a video, not really a tutorial, more of a theory video. I'm gonna be explaining Animator controller. Um, so this is how you make a new one. Just right click anywhere in the project, create, and then Animator controller. I'm also gonna make an animation just so I can uh, display it better. Okay. For example, I add in my hierarchy a cube. I have a cube. I'm going to change its position to 0. Now it's centered in space. Okay. Anyways, first thing I'm going to show y'all is these things. 3 things right here. Um, they are in every single layer. I make a new layer. They're all there. So what do they do? This is the entry point. This is where your layer starts, and this is the state that you send it to when you want to make it go back to the start. And this is the state that you use when you want to interrupt anything and go somewhere that it force going to somewhere. Let me be more clear about it. If I add an empty state and I just leave it there, when it's going to initialize, this is going to play because it's linked to the entry. The entry goes into the new state, and then I could decide to make the new state go into the exit, and then when it would go back to the entry, and then go in the new state, and then go in the exit, and it's going to loop forever. What I can decide to do is add a third one, delete this transition, a third one, I mean a second one, base. Link these two together, and now it would be yet another loop. It would start here, go there, go there, go there, and then go there, go there, go there, etc. But what I can do is add a transition from the any state to the new state, and then it would go there, go there, go there, and then go there, go there, go there. Because this is currently broken. I need to add a condition. If I go in the parameter tab and add a boolean, for example, and I call it int, and I add the condition in this transition interrupt true. Right now it's false, so it's still gonna loop from here, there, there, to there. But if at any point interrupt gets turned to true, it's gonna go to this state. So any state just means at any point ever, if this condition is true, then go to where it's pointing. So that's how people usually make gesture toggles. They have their any state right here. They got their initialize. Uh, I'll, I'll I'll explain later why it's important to make an initialize state. And then they got their animations. So for example, they do something like this, and then this would be open hand. This would be, I don't know, fist, etc., etc. And then if the user is doing an open hand, it would just go to the open hand. And if it's doing a fist, then it would just go from any state to fist. That's why you would want to use any state. Okay, I guess that's it for starting things. Um, oh yeah, here, I'll show something else. Example, you have two states, and you want to link, wait, can you even do this? Oh yeah, it works. I'm not gonna make any assumptions. I honestly don't know why you would do this. I need to do more testing. But if you want to swap this little orange arrow from there to there, all you gotta do is click here the state you want to make orange, and then right click set as default layer state, and then it's the new default state. So there you go. Now, if I remove this, now I have a completely the equivalent of a completely new controller. Um, the other thing I want to make y'all understand is how important this little checkbox right here is. Um, and for that, I will make a couple of animations. I'll put right defaults on 1, then right defaults on 2, right defaults on 3. Now right defaults off 1. Okay, so I got 3 animations for right defaults off and 3 animations for right defaults on. Right now they have absolutely nothing in them, so I will animate them. To do that, I'll make a new layer. I'll call it testing. testing. I will leave it like that, and then I'll drag and drop all of my animations on there. Then I will go and create a new empty object, and I'll call it root. I'll drag my cube in the root. Actually, never mind, hold on. I'll put the root to coordinates before, and then drag the cube in it. There we go. Okay. Now if I go on the root and drag and drop the controller, it's gonna do all of that by itself, and I can start to animate it. I will make actually I don't even need 3 animations. Let me delete those. Root. Our default's off. Okay. The animation number 1, what I'm gonna do is just change this position to -1. And 2, I'll change this position to 1. So if you check, our default's off 1 moves to the right, and our default's off 2 moves to, upwards. And then I'll do the same with those. So our default's 1 -1, right? Our default's on 1. Okay. So this animation and this animations are exactly the same. Same for those two. But that's going to change soon because I need to explain something before I make them different. If I okay, let me make a new layer. I'll call it right defaults. Right defaults. And a new one called right defaults off. Okay. Since I want to use this one for now, I'm going to put its weight to 1, and I'm not going to touch the other one. So I'm going to drag and drop the right defaults on, and this. You know what? I'm going to make an empty animation just to make empty. This is right defaults. Okay, no, I won't even need the empty animation. Okay, that is default state. So now when it starts, it goes straight to the new state that I'm going to call initialize. Now I want it so when I turn this bool parameter called which, for example, it goes to right defaults on. Oh, okay, no, I have a better idea on how to play it. I'm gonna do as if it was a gesture controller. Okay, so I got any state to there. I'm gonna delete the switch. I'm gonna make an integral switch. Okay. Now I want it to go to initialize when the switch is at 0. I want it to go to right defaults on when the switch is at 1, equals 1. And I want it to go to right defaults on 2 when the switch is equal to 2. Now, just to make sure, right defaults is on, and on. It's always on by default. And if I click play, and I go on, and I just put it on the side, if I turn it to 1, see, it turns. And then 2, it goes up, 1, to the right. If I go to the right and then oh, how am I gonna do? See, it went diagonally. See, that's how right defaults work. It went diagonally. Now I'm gonna do the same. You know what? I'm just gonna root right defaults, and root. I'm just gonna do this right defaults, so no right defaults. I'm gonna duplicate this. I'm gonna rename it no right defaults, and this one name right default. I can put this back here. Now I'm in the right. I'm in this one. Okay, I'm gonna delete this. Now in this one, I'm gonna delete. I'm gonna delete this one too, and I'm gonna switch everything to right default. I'm gonna check it, uncheck it. I mean, I'm gonna change the animations to right default off. This is right defaults off 1, and I remember that the animations are exactly the same. I'm just doing it so it's clearer. I'm also gonna remove them. The initialize, I'm gonna leave it like that. And let's try again. I should put the right controller in there. So now this no right defaults cube has the no right defaults animator controller. And now we're gonna do the same thing. Go in parameter, switch it to 1. It does the same thing. Switch it to 2. See how when I go back to 0, it doesn't go back to the beginning? The only way I can make it go back to the beginning is by telling it to do so. So when you remove right defaults, it does not remember the default position or the default state or the default whatever. You have to animate it within the animation. So what I'm gonna do to fix that is in the animation, yeah, this is right defaults off 1. In the animation, I'm gonna wait, what? Oh, right. Okay, I forgot. I'm sorry. I'm dumb. My example was really not good. By defaults off. I'm gonna call it initialize. And in initialize, I'm gonna just put this to 0. Then initialize. But this isn't a good example. I'm gonna do another one after that, just show a different thing. Now let's do this again. I should have fixed it. I put the default. I made the default. Okay, so if I do 1, there we go. Now it goes back. 2. So now it does the exact same thing. If I do this, it goes in diagonal. So just by making a default state, it understands that it works. The other thing you want to do is, for example, I add a third animation and I put it right here. I make a new state, and I put it on equals 3. And this one, instead of changing the position, it's going to change the rotation. So default's off 3. And the cube, it's going to make it rotate, I don't know, this way, 90, wait, no, not there. This way, 90 degrees. So you can't see it because it's like a, just trust me, it rotates. I'm gonna show it to you real quick. Oh wait, did I even, hold on. I don't even know if I checked. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Gotta make sure that everything in the same animator is using either right defaults or right defaults off. Cannot have, well, you can, it's just, it acts very weirdly. Okay. 3, it rotates. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna make it 45 so that I can tell that it's rotated. Okay, now if I rotate it 3, 45-degree angle. The problem is, if I go straight to 2, you see how it doesn't revert the rotation? That makes it so, for example, when you do gestures, for example, you have normal face, you have happy eyes face, and you got a blep face. You know what? Just to make this easier to understand, I will change this face to angry face. So when you want to change from one face to the other, for example, this is idle when you're not doing any hand gesture. This would be, I don't know, open hand. And this would be finger gun. Oh boy, good enough. When you want to change for one to the other, this is using right defaults off. Right defaults off. When you want to change from one to the other, you don't want to keep old animations properties. So for example, you want to go from there to there. Very easy. You just change the eyes. But if you want to go from there to there, it's not as simple. You need to revert the eyes back to how they were and change the mouth. Changing the mouth is the easy part because that's what you put in your animation. But changing the eyes back to normal, when you have right defaults off, you have to put it in your animation. And that's exactly what's happening right here. You want to, for example, imagine that the eyes being mad is the rotation, and the blep is it going up. So if I put it to 0, it goes back down, as if the mouth goes back to its default state, and then 2, blep. If I go to 0, and then I go to 3, and then I go back to 0, it doesn't work. Part of it because it's not in the initialize. Let me oops, hold on. if I go in the initialize and add a root. Oh no. Oh, okay. Okay, for example, I'm gonna do this over. I did it wrong on the other ones and I don't feel like animating them again. Okay, that's how it was. And then I put it on initialize. And on initialize, I add a key for rotation, just so it reverts back to normal when I go back to 0. Okay? So what I have right here is everything that I need to say. Okay, wait, okay. I forgot to say something on this. Make it even easier to understand, imagine that in the animation, that's all you have. So you just add your previous state to the other one. So you start from this, change the eyes. And since this isn't changed, you just keep it. But then, when you try to go to the other one, oh, your face looks like this. You change the mouth because it needs to be changed. But since you have nothing to change the eyes either, it just keeps them like this. You don't want that. Anyways, I hope it's easier to understand. Um, what I did, uh, well, I didn't do it yet. I'm gonna finish explaining what I was trying to explain with this. Uh, now, if I do 3, it rotates. If I go back to 0, it comes back to normal. If I go to 2, but then straight go to 3, see, it stays at the same place. It doesn't go down and then rotates, or it doesn't do both at the same time, like right defaults would. It just keeps the last, it keeps what it's not changing, and it modifies the rest. So if I go straight to 1, it's going to keep the rotation. There you go. And it goes down because technically it's animated that it needs to go down to. Because if I check in the animation, right defaults off 1, it has all 3 positions. Right defaults off 2 also has all 3 positions. If I were to remove this, oh wait, no, I can't remove just 1. I have to have all 3. But the reason why it keeps the rotation or it keeps the position is because here, you see, it only has the position. It has nothing else. Ooh, I'm gonna mute it. There we go. It only has the position and not a rotation. But in here, it's the opposite. It only has a rotation and not the position. If I wanted to act like in right defaults, it's extremely easy. I just, first of all, go out of play mode. I go where I need to animate. I go through all my states, and then here, oh, it has position, but it doesn't have rotation. I just add rotation. Here, oh, it doesn't have rotation. I add rotation. Doesn't have position, I add position. And initialize has everything. So now it should act like if it was on right defaults. So now if I go and rotate it and go from 3 straight to 2, it should not keep the rotation. See, it does, it removes the rotation as it's going up. And that's because of what I just did. What I did basically, I just added, okay, in my animation, the default state of the mouth is this. And the default state of the eyes in this one is this. So I keep track of everything I change and I add them as defaults in all of my animations. So when it goes from this to this, it sees, oh, the eyes are different. I'm going to put them like this. Oh, the mouth is also different. I'm gonna put it like this. So that's how you replicate right defaults with right defaults off. I'm not gonna go into why right defaults off is better. I'm probably gonna do that in another video because that's a long subject too. But yeah, now I'm gonna go into how the transitions work. So you see there's all these let me hide this. There's these settings right here that can be kind of confusing. But when you know how to use them, it's extremely useful. So when for example you have exit time, well, you can put exit time. Let me just make I'm gonna put this on 0. I'm gonna make a transition real and put this one to 1, so it's the only one used. Um, okay, for example, I have an animation here and an animation there. And I have a transition from there to there. And I just gonna call it Boolean. I'm gonna remove the right defaults. Okay. Now in the transition, exit time is you see how it just hides this? Can't modify it if it's not checked. Well, that makes sense if you read. Um, Exit time is basically how much of the animation is played untouched. So for example, I got right defaults off 1 in here. Just to make sure oh it's wrong. And right defaults 2 in here. Basically, if you look at the transition right here, untouched, it looks like this. It's gonna play 3/4 of the why can't I? Okay, it doesn't matter. It's gonna play 3/4 of the first animation untouched, and then it's gonna start fading into the second animation, and then the 3/4 of the second animation is gonna be um, untouched. So this is the percentage of the first animation that is played uh, out of the transition, and this is the percentage of the seconds. Oh, yeah, just put it in percents. It's easier like that. Um, this is the percentage of the second animation that is part of the transition. So if I want the whole second animation to be part of the transition, I just put 1. And if I don't want the second animation to be affected by the transition at all, and I just want to interrupt the first animation about 3/4 of the way through, I just put it to 0. But I'll leave it at 0.25. And if at the opposite, I want the first animation to fully play and then fade into the second animation, I can just do this. So it's going to play entirely, and when it's done, fade into the other one. And then you can just you can just tell it to play the full first animation, not fade at all into the second one and play it. That would be 1 and then 0. Now, if you want to add conditions, you can do this. Boolean, true. When your Boolean is true, it's going to be triggered at the end over here. As soon as it hits this line, it's gonna that's when that's when it's gonna check the Boolean or your condition or whatever. So I can have other things than Boolean. I can do this if I want. But for the sake of the example, I'm gonna pick this Boolean. It's gonna check right here, and it's not gonna start the second animation unless your condition over here is true. Not transition offset. I never had that ever. I never used it. Oh, okay, it just skips a part of the animation. Um, Interruptions. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. These things right here, I never used them. Never ever had a need for them. But I always have this unchecked. And then I mess with these numbers right here. Um, Something you can do is disable the exit time and transition duration, put it to 0, so that as soon as your condition is true, for example, your animation is just 1 frame long, pretty much like all of the animations I made. If you look, it's so short that it doesn't even count how long it is. It starts at frame 0 and finishes at frame 0. When you have, well, that's pretty much called a toggle. When you have toggles like these, what you can do is from your one toggle to the other one, in your transition, you disable the exit time, you put the transition duration to 0, and put your conditions. So that's going to make it so, actually I can show you. If I make a way back, and here it's true. Okay, so 0, and then Boolean to false. But what if I try this? See what happens. It basically teleports. It, yeah, I'm spoiling. Parameters, Boolean. See, it teleports. Why does it? Oh yeah, yeah, okay. So original position is down here. So it does the first animation, which pushes it to the right. And then if I check it, it comes back and goes up instantly. Actually, it doesn't even go back. It just goes diagonally to the one because of the animation I did. And it does it instantly because of the animation duration time, transition duration time, this right here. This value, if I change it to 0.25, it's going to take, for example, if I tell it 1 second, or just a quarter of a second, and I do the same on the other one, you'll see. Now it's still going to wait for my Boolean, but it's going to take a quarter of a second to execute the transition. So it's not going to be a teleport. It's going to be quick. Yeah, here you go. Transition duration. That's the fade. Um, I wonder if I can show you what happens when make it long and interrupt it. Yeah, it has to do the entire thing, even if you try to interrupt it. That's when you can do this right here. Like one of them is instant and the other one has to play fully before it comes back. So you can use things like that to your advantage when you make avatars, and you can make cool looking stuff. Yeah, I think that's about it. If I have anything else to say, well, these other parameters, I'm gonna go through them in my other tutorials. Mostly motion time, maybe multiplier. I think I used that thing 3 times in my entire life. Um, but anyways, that's gonna be it for now. Bye. Thank you for watching.